Hey peeps, welcome back to my channel. Hello, today I'm going to answer some reader questions, so stick around, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you would, and hit that bell so you get notified when I have new videos. And we will get right to it here. So welcome back to my channel. Hello, I'm sorry I missed the past couple Saturdays. I did get a brief explanation up during midweek. It's been a rough past 2 weeks. I am feeling a bit better today. I think you can probably tell I'm not nearly as foggy or as, out of it. Luckily, I can work for the most part when I am not feeling up to par, but I don't have much extra energy for other things. Anyway, so yeah, today gonna do some reader questions. I want to remind you that Monday Conjure Web comes out and you will see the big Easter egg that I put in it, and I think it will make a lot of you happy. And I hope you really love that series. I love writing it. I'm currently working on Witching Fire. I will be writing A Veil of Stars after that, an Ember book, and then right back to January for 3 more books. So we should get into things. I don't want to make this video too long. I think the shorter videos tend to do better. So let me see. I will take the first question. Ryan asks about the likelihood of seeing the Bewitching Bedlam series in audio. Not likely. Not likely at all. For one thing, audiobooks cost about $3,000 each to produce. And unfortunately, I just don't have that kind of spare money sitting around, especially for a series that does not sell well. And I can guarantee you it sells at least, less than a quarter of what The Wild Hunt does, of what Moonshadow Bay does. And if I spent that much money into investing in audiobooks for all of the Bewitching Bedlam books, I'd be broke. So not likely. Sorry. If a audio publisher chose to approach me about it, I would consider going with them like I did with Town Tour for Wild Hunt. But, it's not likely at this point. Now, Jenny asked about Souljacker and what the likelihood of more books in the Lily Bound series would be. That depends on whether I can get it back. I am working on trying to get it back from Diversion right now. If you go on Twitter or go to Writer Beware blog and search on Diversion books, you'll see a lot of what I've been dealing with. I'm not going to talk about them much here because I don't trust them not to be lawsuit happy. But let's just say there have been a number of difficulties with that publisher. And I'm not happy. Okay, moving on. And Kaylee says hi. She's our beautiful girl. She loves to help me, and I love to have her help. She's very pretty. Maura asks if there is a chance I could read a chapter of one of my books on video. I've thought of that. I might actually do that. So if people are interested, please note in the comments if you're interested. Enough people interested, enough people willing to sit through a chapter, and I'll do it. So, okay. Victoria asks if there are other places in Washington that I would place a series in or be willing to write about. Western Washington, probably. Eastern Washington, no. I grew up in Eastern Washington. No offense to anybody who lives there, but I hated it. I got out of there when I was 17, and I never went back, and I never will go back. I have a lot of baggage from that side of the mountains from my childhood and teenage years. I mean, some really awful baggage, and I don't like the climate, and I don't think I could write about it without making it sound horrible. And it's not really horrible if you love that climate and you like the desert and you like really cold winters and really hot summers. But I don't like any of that. And I didn't enjoy the attitudes over there either. You know, I grew up in the 60s. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and that area was a hotbed of racism. And I really didn't like feeling part of that culture. And when you live somewhere, you are part of the culture, even if you don't fit in. So there will probably be other areas in Western Washington that I explore in my books, but not Eastern Washington. Sophie asks about my novella, The Longest Night, and if I would consider other stories in that world. You know, I've thought about it, and if I get some extra time, I might. I liked the quirky little town that I was starting to create there. I'm not a romance writer by nature, and it was just pretty much contemporary pagan romance. I I suppose, you know, I could think about setting a series or some books in a series there. I'm not sure. I'll think about it. It didn't sell well. I will put links to the book page in this video or in the discussion box below so that those of you who've never heard of it can check it out if you want. I had written it originally for an anthology, which is no longer available. And then I put it in KU and it did nothing. And now it's white again, but I can't even remember if I put it on the other vendors again. It is available on Amazon. I will see. I will see what I can do with it. Maybe I'll put it on BookFunnel and let you guys have it for a freebie. How about that? Would you like that? Um, I'll do a link in the video or in the description box, and you guys can download it and see what you think about it. It's still available on Amazon to buy if you want, but if you want it free, you know, it'll be my spring present to you guys. And last question for now, Jennifer asks if I can talk about hand fasting and the different elements of it. Well, hand fasting is currently the pagan form of a wedding. And yes, Sam and I were hand fasted. We are also legally married. It was our wedding. And basically, a hand fasting is as unique as the couple wants it to be. We had some common elements. There is a hand fasting cord that you braid before the hand fasting. Generally, the couple braids it, and it's a braiding together of lives, and you focus on that when you braid it. And it's used to wrap the bride and groom, or the bride and bride, or the groom and groom's hands together during the ceremony, and it's a symbol that you are binding your lives together. And after that, you keep it in a sacred place. There is usually the element of jumping the broom at the end, and basically it's jumping into a new lifestyle. And there are other elements too. We had a formal ritual ceremony because I am a priestess, and for me to get married, to get hand fasted, it needed to be done before the gods. So we did it. So I wrote the ceremony, and Sam read it and approved it because I wouldn't want him to be approving or going through a ceremony he didn't like. So I wrote the ceremony. It basically bound us together by what I call the Troth of Nine, which are 9 elements that we hold sacred in our lives. If you're interested, I can do an entire video about that and maybe include clips of our own hand fasting because we do have it on video. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments. But basically, a hand fasting, you know, it can be anything the couple wants it, but it's usually pagan in origin. You usually do it in a ritual. You usually invoke the god and the goddess, or the goddesses or gods or whoever that you wish to pledge your journey together in front of. Oh, and some couples pledge to stay together until the Summerlands, which is basically until death. The Summerlands is a Celtic afterlife. Um, Sam and I chose to pledge to stay together as long as love shall last, because I will never make a binding pledge to death unless I know I can carry it out. And having been in a horrible first marriage, I didn't know how it would work out. People change. So it makes us work harder because we don't have an agreement to stay together until death. We will stay together as long as our love lasts. So we work on it. We work on our marriage constantly. That's how we keep it alive. That we're coming up on 28 years on Beltane, May 1st, of being married, and it still feels like it's only been a few years. Sam continually says, I feel like I'm still getting to know you. I feel like I'm still just learning new things about you. And I feel the same about him. And we've watched each other grow over the years. There have been hard times. There have been a few very, nebulous times where I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. But most of those have been in the past. And we have learned how to address our issues. We've learned what works for us. And it works, and we're still very much in love. And in fact, we love each other more than we did at the beginning, which I think is a good sign. Our love has grown over the years, and there is respect there. And I think that's key for any relationship. If you don't respect your partner, it's not going to work. It is just not going to work. Your partner's always going to feel relegated to a diminished status. So yeah. So I can talk about hand fasting for an entire video if you want, and some other pagan traditions, like there's a Wiccaning, which I'm not Wiccan, but I do use that term because it makes the most sense, which is like a christening. It's basically offering the child to be protected by the gods. Only you don't, in my opinion, you do not pledge that child to the gods. They need to be of age and understanding and be called to the path. But it's basically asking the gods to protect your child and to guide them and help you guard them. There are a number of pagan traditions and rituals that I can talk about. If you're interested, leave notes in the comments, and tell me how your week was. How was your week? What are you looking forward to the coming week? I'm going to be having a midweek video on creating a morning ritual, and it'll be short, but it's a ritual for work, a morning routine rather. Speaking of rituals, for me it's a ritual. For some people it would be a routine. And go buy Conjure Web because it's coming out on Monday, and I'd really, really, really love it if you guys would give this new series a try, because so many people have been loving it. I love writing it. I feel close to the character, and there's just a difference to this series. It feels different to me. I'm very much in tune with it, and I'm very excited to see what you think of this one. So I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.